ụmụnne m nwunye Mazi Nnamdi pụtara bịa kwuo okwu kpọmkwem otu ihe niile siri were mee. Nwanne m adịghị nwaanyị ọ ga-ewu na ya agbachie nkịtị maka na nwaanyị obi agbawala ya. Nwaanyị ya abịala bịa kọwaa otu ihe niile siri mee, otu esiri gwuo di wayo. Chai, anya mmiri akwa nwaanyị ya ga-emetụ gị n'obi. Aga m achọ ka ị watch ya video na gewa watch ya from beginning to the end. Nwanne m ka ọ dịkwanị na watch the video.
Good evening, fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom and truth, lovers of justice. It's been a long day for all of us. It's been a very, very long day. Annoying long day, not unexpected day, but a day that we knew that would come sometime, at some point. I just had to wait for Nabi Kim to go back into the house because I haven't told him what happened. He's asked me about the court and I said, is the usual nonsense going on? And he said, okay. We have seen what transpired today in the court between Mazi Nnamdi and the kakistocratic, I have always called Nigerian government kakistocratic government of Nigeria. What happened today is not something unprecedented. It is something that we know that this is what they want to do, even though some people don't realize that, but this is something that has been planned, prepared a long time ago. Although at some point we would have averted or evaded this type of behavior in the past, but notwithstanding, God alone understands why it has to come this way or go this way. Mind you, this is not about some political misunderstanding or misconception happening anywhere. This is about Biafra. So if we understand what Biafra is and understand what it entails and understand the people behind Biafra, the unseen hands and the seen hands, then we will understand what this whole thing is about. Also, if we understand who we are as the Igbo people, Igbo, there is something about us that the enemy does not want to board. We are very special, I keep saying that. And at some point, God, in his infinite mercy, would make us known as he has purposed us to be. So I need to be fast so I can go back in. I'm in the car trying to make this quick video before going back in because Nabi Kim will come out now. I don't want him to hear me. In Nigeria, a judge cannot ask a defendant to open a defense on terrorism related charges without reading out the written law under which the court is trying that person. Okay, so the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, Section 36. I mean, I'm sure that is very unfamiliar to everyone now. It provides that a person shall not be convicted of a criminal offense unless the offense is defined and the penalty prescribed as in a written law. So what Omotosho has done today is a written script for him to read out. Everyone could hear him, everyone could see that he was reading a script handed over to him and that he could barely read out some of the words in his own very written judgment. How interesting. How interesting. I've had to quickly tweet and post the travesty of justice today regarding how Omotosho ignored the Constitution's requirement that no one can be convicted under an unwritten or unknown offense. He forced Mazi Nnamdi to take a plea under a repealed law, which Mazi Nnamdi refused. So show me where it is written before I can enter into a defense. And that never happened. Omotosho refused blatantly, flagrantly, to issue written rulings on serious applications. So you could hear him reading, you could hear him counting thousands of lines of hours of account. But then he refused to issue a written ruling, which he ought to have done first, but never did. He told Mazi Nnamdi to put all objections in a final address, then blocked the final address. So if you were Mazi Nnamdi, you will be as outraged as Mazi was this afternoon. You cannot ask me to put my final address, put it down, write it down, and then you block it. So Mazi Nnamdi has right, is his right, to put a final address down, to write it down. But Omotosho blocked that and decided to read out those nonsense he called count. And he refused to, first of all, decide whether he even had the power to try the case. We kept talking about jurisdiction. I have always talked about jurisdiction. Nigeria government has no right to try Mazi Nnamdi. He who comes to law must come with equity, or he who comes to equity must come with clean hands, rather, excuse me. So it's also in the spirit. If I'm coming if I'm going somewhere to lay a complaint about someone, I ought not to have done something, rather lay a complaint first. So Nigerian government decided to take Mazi Nnamdi from Kenya, they kidnapped him, tortured him. After 8 days, they brought him to Nigeria, and then decided to try him under a repealed law, which we have refused. So a few gaps there where we should have stood on our discharge and acquitted and stood by it. Regardless, that would be revisited, and we are going to appeal. Of course, we are not going to sit down and fold our arms for Nigerian government to deliver something that they have planned, a verdict that they have written years before now. We won this case. They were not happy about it. They went to Supreme Court, even though the Supreme Court messed around with the whole judgment, but they did say to them, you are trialing him on a wrong law, change it. Nigeria never changed it. Where is the treasonable felony gone? Where is the location of the crime? Where is the location of the crime? Did Omotosho mention it? No. One of the reasons I came on live is to point at just one single point, or one single loophole. Omotosho cannot give a verdict on an evidence that was not inclusive in the previous, or the evidence tendered in court. Everyone keeps shouting, Mazi Nnamdi said, burn down this, kill the policemen. What were the policemen doing? Policemen were shooting protesters who were unarmed. But that aside, did any person come to court? Was that a witness in the court who came in to say, I committed this crime? Or was that a person that the police or the DSS or the Nigerian government brought into the court and said, this person committed this crime because Nnamdi Kanu incited them? None whatsoever. So in Omotosho's verdict, he was counting everything, and he counted about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu wanting the British embassy to be burnt down and Katrina Lang murdered. How is that? So you see, when I say that the Nigerian government and all their nonsense is of kakistocratic nature, it is not a joke. It is not a joke. So with all the maxed people in the court who kept saying, I'm unaware, I don't know, this is where Nigerian government wants to go. This is where they want to go to. Or life imprisonment. He would have mentioned death sentence then. Why didn't he mention it? He should have said death sentence. The thing is, we're not here to make any noise, but to continue to tell our people that this is an orchestrated pattern. We know the hands behind this. The British government being brought into this very case in order to say, oh, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is international. Take this point, international terrorist. They are stupid. You know, this is the same. This is the kind of person who would be in an examination hall. They would give him a copy, whatever, and he would copy both the person, his matriculation number, and the person who gave him a note to copy from. He would copy everything. So even though you can see that Omotosho was reading a script handed over to him just this morning or last night, he was just coming to court to read it out, not to analyze anything, not to actually pass judgment. It is right there before. They think Trump is not intelligent. Is that what they think? They think the American government is as kakistocratic as they are? No. For them to rise and say that there is Christian genocide in Nigeria, it means that they have done their work. They have all the evidence. So these scripts, when someone gives you a script to read, you have to act the part. These people are so kakistocratic, they cannot even act a script. Omotosho could barely read out the verdict. He didn't know the words. They were handed over to him, and he was reading something that was never ever mentioned in the court. You cannot pass a judgment based on excluded evidence. You cannot just by yourself put in something that you feel you need to add to pass judgment on an innocent man. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not a terrorist. There are terrorists running around in Omotosho's village. Is it Eruka? They recently attacked location by ISWAP. We have one of our brothers who was just murdered 2 days ago by the same ISWAP. How many of them have they convicted? None whatsoever. None. But it is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This is right before his eyes. They're running around. You can't. When he said to you, you cannot, because you have no evidence of, no shred, or no proof, no shred at all. Excuse me. I'm just too tired. There's no shred of evidence, no shred of proof. So this is a written script. They have interpreted it the way they have chosen, but we will fight it. I got here. I got the dog. I got here. They don't know what they are in for. They are angry that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is courageous. You can see that they keep talking about this. You cannot convict a man who is innocent. You have no proof whatsoever. So this script they are tagging, you're using somebody who has killed Igbo people. You're using, all of a sudden you're raising his face that he's a pro-Biafran. That boy in Finland is not a pro-Biafran activist, anything. So these are all propagandas. I want our people to understand how the government operates, how they work. And there are some certain information that we will not be able to release out here in the public. But no, begin to reason deeper than you do to be able to understand how governments operate. There's something I wrote in the past. There is narcissism in the world, but then there's also narcissism in the government, how they operate, especially the Nigerian government, where they have a problem with influence. You can imagine a foreign minister right there in front of the whole world saying